initial worker is 5. Hours per day. Is 600. And then the cost of carrying inventory. Carrying cost is 5. Okay, then hiring new worker, hiring cost is 50. Then is 50. Okay, student, I will share my Excel, yeah. Yeah. Can you see my Excel now?
Yes, very clear, sir.
Okay, good. I already record everything here. Yeah, initial worker is 5. Okay, based on the problem, yeah, you can check. Yeah, you can double check. You can verify. Working hour is 8 hours per day, and then working day is 25 days per month. Yeah, and the cycle time is 600. Inventory carrying cost is 5, and hiring cost is 50, while firing cost is 55. This is per person, yeah. If we hire new person, then we need to pay 50 units. The cost is 50 units. When we firing, yeah, when we firing existing worker, the cost is 55. And inventory carrying cost is 5, yeah, per unit per period. Yeah, per unit per period. This is the period. Yeah, there are 5 periods, and the total. Yeah, this is the forecasting result. Okay, then how to calculate, how to solve this problem? Okay, first we need to sorry, I think we need to have another information about the inventory, yeah, the initial inventory. Sorry, initial inventory is how many units? The initial inventory is 100, but at the end of the planning, the company wants to have only 80, yeah, units. Okay. So here we need to add another information. Initial inventory is 100 and ending inventory, yeah, is 80. You can run your Excel as well, student, yeah, to follow me.
Okay, sir.
Sir,
Yes.
may I have permission to turn off camera because I want to run Excel?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, student. Can we continue?
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. Then okay. From here we try to understand first. Yeah. Initially we have 100 units. Okay. But at the end of period 5, the company wants to reduce the inventory. Yeah. Become 80. So here I think we need to add period 0. Yeah. Period 0 to represent current period. Period 0. Okay. There is no forecasting. Yeah. And after that, this is for the inventory. Okay. Or maybe production, yeah, production first, the production, and then the inventory. Okay, initially we have 100. Okay, this one. At the end of period 5, yeah, this one, yeah, we need to have only 80. Like that. Okay, sudah. Now we try to implement, let's say, chase strategy. Yeah, chase strategy. Okay, in chase strategy, we try to produce the product exactly same with the forecasting result. But we need to consider the inventory as well. Yeah. Okay, sudah? Yeah. Okay. How to start? Okay. Let's say like this. Yeah. Now we have 100 units. Yeah. The requirement is 110. Okay, sudah? Yeah. Before we can define the production quantity here, we need to know one worker can produce how many units. Okay, from here, from here, one worker, okay, work for 8 hours per day and 25 days per month. Okay, sudah? So from here, and the cycle time, the time to produce one unit is 600. So here we can try to calculate first, one worker, okay, one worker, he works for how many hours? We can calculate from here, one day he worked for 8 hours, and then for 25 days per month, and when we convert it to minutes, we need to multiply with 60, like that. Because the cycle time is in minutes, So here we need to calculate the working hour in minute as well. You can see my formula. One worker works for 8 hours per day and 25 days per month. We already calculate the working hour, but we need to convert it become minutes. So we need to multiply with 60. At the end, we can get 12,000 minutes for one worker. Okay, so done. And in order to produce one unit, the cycle time is 600. So one worker, can produce how many units? That equals to this one divided by the cycle time. One worker can produce 20 units. Okay, before we continue, is there any question, student?
We times by 60 to divided into minutes, sir.
Yeah, to convert hours become to minutes.
Oh,
okay. To convert working hour become working minutes. Because the cycle time is in minutes, 600 minutes. Okay,
Sir?
sudah? Yes.
Can we have your Excel after the class, maybe?
It's better for you to follow me, so you can run your Excel after that. Yeah, you follow me step by step. Okay, sudah? This one, is it clear? One worker can produce only 20 units.
Clear, sir.
Yeah, clear. Now let's try to implement chase strategy. Chase strategy. In chase strategy, we try to fulfill the demand exactly. Okay, please focus on this. Our inventory is 100. The requirements is only 110. It means that we need to produce only 10 units. Only 10 units. So here, we put 10. Okay, we put 10. The inventory will be this one, plus the production minus the requirements. Our stock, plus our production quantity minus the requirements. It equals to 0. See, when we implement chase strategy, we will have no inventory, like that. Okay, so then, here we can add, number of worker, number of worker, like that, number of worker, because one worker can produce 20 units. Since our production is only 10 units, it means that we need only one worker. Okay, so then, So here we can add another information which is hiring, yeah, hiring and hiring cost, yeah, and firing, and also the firing cost, and inventory cost, inventory cost. Okay, like that. Okay, or maybe we can save this one, yeah. So okay, like that. Inventory cost, number of worker, hiring cost, firing cost. Okay, student. Yeah, let's continue, yeah. You follow me step by step. If no, it will be problem for you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir.
Inventory cost. Yeah, because we have no inventory, so we need to multiply our inventory, which is 0, yeah, with the inventory cost. The inventory cost, this one, 5. Yeah, we need to lock it like that. Then we can copy, yeah, we can copy to the right like that. Okay, sudah. Number of worker, we continue, yeah. Number of worker that we require is only 1. Previously, we have 5. So in this situation, we need to fire 4 worker. We need to fire 4 workers. So here, yeah, we need to fire 4 workers. Then the cost will be 4 times 55. Yeah, we lock it. We lock this cell like that. Okay, after we lock, then we can copy it on the right. Yeah, like that. Before we continue, is there any question, student?
Can you repeat the last step, sir?
Okay. Yeah. For the period 1, yeah, for the period 1, because our production is only 10 units, yeah, only 10 units, it means that we need only 1 worker. Why 1 worker? Because here we already calculate 1 worker can produce 20 units. We need to produce only 10 units. It means that by assigning 1 worker, we can chase the production target, which is 10 units. So here the number of required worker is only 1. Okay. Previously we have this one, yeah, initial worker is 5. So yeah, so here, yeah, we can write formula, yeah, the initial worker minus the number of required worker. So we have 4. It means that we need to firing, yeah, we need to fire 4 workers. 1 workers, yeah, to fire 1 workers, the required cost is 55. So here, yeah, we can calculate the total cost to fire 4 workers is, yeah, 4 times 55, which is $220. Okay, student, is it clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, let's continue. Now we go to the second period. Yeah, we move to the second period. Okay, we have no inventory. See, yeah, I click this one, yeah, the inventory, no inventory, but the requirements is 120. So no choice, we need to produce 120. Okay, so then number of worker here, yeah, we can use our formula round, yeah, the production defined by 1 worker can produce 20 units, yeah, like that. Oops. Okay, number of digit, yeah, 0. So yeah, we require 6 workers. This one also same, yeah, we can do the same formula that equals to the production target, yeah, so round the production target divided by 1 worker can produce 20 units, yeah, and after that, yeah, like that. So I think we can lock, yeah, the, okay, like that, and we can copy. Okay, like that. Okay, student. Yeah, the inventory, how to calculate? Same, yeah. You can use the same formula. Yeah, the previous inventory, this one, yeah, plus the production. Okay, yeah, just use look our logic. Yeah, previously we have how many units, which is 0. Now we produce how many units, which is 120, and after that we subtract with the requirement, which is subtract with the requirement, which is 120. Like that. So we can copy. We can copy, yeah, and then it's okay, still negative, yeah, because there is still no production target. Okay, sudah? Ada question? Okay, if no question, let's continue. Yeah, we have no inventory, but we have requirement which is 130. So no choice, we need to produce 130. And then, yeah, okay, we settle first, yeah, this one first, yeah, production. Okay, 120, like that. Yeah, but after that, please be careful. We cannot produce only 120. Why? Because the company also expect to have 80 units, yeah, at the end of period 5. So we need to produce how many? How many units? 120 plus 80 units, which is 200. Yes, correct.
100, sir.
Yes, correct. This one. Okay, sudah. Now, yeah, we go here. Number of worker. Okay, number of worker, yeah. After we fire 4 worker, it means that now we have only 1 worker. But in period 2, we need 6 worker. It means that we need to recruit, yeah, another 5 workers. We need to hire another 5 workers. So the hiring will be 5. Like that. Yeah, and the hiring cost will be, yeah, the number of hired worker times the hiring cost, which is 50. Then we can lock it. Yeah, we lock. Then we got 250, right? Yeah, we just copy, yeah, copy to the right and also to the left in order to have complete, yeah, complete matrix. And then, okay, if we have firing, of course we have no hiring, yeah. If we have hiring, of course we have no firing. Okay. Okay, so done. Yeah. Now we have 6 workers. 6 workers. Yeah. But in period 7, we need 7 workers. It means that we need to hire another 1 worker. So here we need to hire 1 worker. Okay, so done. Yeah, there is no firing. Yeah, no firing. Please be careful. Yeah. Now we have 7 workers, but in period 4, we need only 6 workers. It means that we need to fire 1 worker. Yeah, we have no hiring. Okay, sudah. And now, yeah, now we have only 6 workers, but in period 5 we need 10 workers. It means that we need to hire how many workers? 4 workers, like that. And we have no firing. Okay, sudah. Yeah, now we can prove. Yeah, theoretically, if we implement this strategy, the inventory cost and also the lost sale cost will be lower. See, yeah, the inventory cost is close to 0, except for the last period, yeah, because at the last period, the company expect to have 80 units. No choice. Yeah, no choice. We need to follow, yeah, the policy. So here we can calculate the total inventory cost will be the sum of that inventory cost. This one, yeah. And also for the hiring cost, this one, sum of the hiring cost, and also this one, sum of the firing cost. So here we can sum of all of the costs, yeah, this one. Okay, this is the total cost. Total cost is $1,175. Okay, so done. Any question for this chase strategy? Yeah, we can put
Wait,
chase.
sir.
Yeah, chase. Sorry, chase strategy here. Yeah, chase strategy matrix. This is the matrix. Clear, yeah? If clear, then let's try to implement leveling strategy. In leveling strategy, we need to calculate the average production quantity first. So how to conduct leveling? Yeah, okay, I just copy this matrix, yeah. Copy this one, and then paste here. And then I change, become leveling strategy. Okay, then I need to delete this one first. Yeah, and also the number of worker. Okay, no, hiring, yeah, hiring. And also the firing. Okay, like that. Initial inventory is 100, yeah, sorry, 100. And then at the end, this one, the inventory is 80. Okay. Okay, so done. Okay, please pay attention. This is slightly messy, the calculation. Yeah. Initially, we have 100 units. Okay. Total requirements is 600. Yeah, it means that we need to produce how many units in total? 500 units. Yeah, 500 units. But at the end, the company also need to have 80 units as the last stock, as the ending stock. So we need to produce how many units in total? Can you answer?
Can you repeat, sir?
Okay. Yeah. The total requirements is 600. Yeah. Clear? Previously, initially, we have 100 units. So we need to produce 500 units in total. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. But at the end, the company also need to have 80 units as the ending inventory. My question is, how many units in total we need to produce?
580.
580, correct. Okay, 580 units. I write here, yeah, 580 units. Then, yeah, if we use leveling, it means that we need to constant, yeah, our production quantity. So we need to calculate the average of this, yeah, to be distributed in every period here. So we just subtract this one with 5 because there are 5 periods. The production quantity is 116. Okay, it's okay. Yeah, I think you need to mute your broken microphone, yeah. Okay. Hello, please mute your microphone. I mean, for not disturbing the others. Okay, sudah? Before we continue, please make sure you understand about this. Our production quantity is 116 per period. We make it constant because we implement leveling strategy. From where? This one, yeah, from this one, the total requirements divided by 5. Why 5? Because there are 5 periods. So, yeah, we need to enter here 116, 116, 116, 116, and 116. And check from here, it equals to the inventory, previous inventory, plus the production, yeah, minus the requirements, that equals to 80. Yes, correct. Yeah, it's same with the expected inventory by the company. Okay, student. Now, yeah, here we already have the inventory calculation. Just try to check, yeah. If we have 100, we produce 116. Total, we will have 216. The requirement is only 110. It means that at the end of period 1, we will have 106 units. Yes, correct. Yeah, we will use this to fulfill the next requirement. But the production quantity is constant 116. So at the end of period 2, in period 2, we will have 222. The requirement is only 120. So at the end of period 2, we will have 102 units as the inventory. And so on. You can check from here. And this is automatically calculated, yeah. The inventory times the total the inventory cost, which is 5, yeah. So yeah, we have this in this cost as the inventory cost. Okay, student. Number of worker. Okay, this one, yeah. Round of that. Just okay. Check it, yeah. 116 divided by 20, it equals to 6. Okay. Previously, we have how many workers? We have 5 workers. It means that we need to hire another 1 worker. Like that. But after that, see, the required worker is constant. Yeah, that's the benefit of leveling. Yeah, there is no dynamic. Yeah, there is no hiring, firing like that. Yeah, because we constant. Yeah, we constant our production quantity. Yeah. So here there is no hiring. After that, yeah, and also no firing. This one also same. Yeah, like that. Okay, student. Now we can prove. Theoretically, in leveling strategy, yeah, because there is no dynamic, then hiring and firing cost will be lower. See, yeah, very low. Yeah, this one for hiring cost only 50, yeah, close to 0, and the firing cost is exactly 0. No firing at all. Yeah, in period 1, we just need to recruit one worker, and to recruit 1 worker, the cost is 50, only that. Yeah, but yeah, the inventory cost will be higher. Okay, total, yeah, you can check. Okay, the total is $2,350. So from here we can compare. You can compare, yeah. For this case, yeah. So yeah, as engineer, we need to implement chase strategy instead of leveling strategy. Why? Because the total cost is lower. Okay, so then that's the answer of the problem. Is there any question, please? Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
why we have 116 below the 580? Yeah, that one.
Okay, from here, I repeat again, yeah. In leveling strategy, we need to produce the quantity constantly. Is it clear? That's why, yeah. That's why when I explain the theory, yeah, I underline you need to understand about the concept of the definition of the strategy first. Okay, in leveling strategy, we need to produce constantly. Is it clear?
Yeah, sir.
Yeah, in order to produce constantly, we need to calculate the total requirements, divide by the number of periods. Yeah, so the total requirements is 600. Initially, we have 100. So total, we need how many units? 500. But don't forget, yeah, at the end of period 5, the company also expect to have 80 units. So, yeah, we need to produce 500 plus the 80 units. Total, we need to produce 580 units. Because there are 5 periods, so we need to divide this quantity with 5. We got 116. Yeah, okay. And then we can leveling it. Yeah, we can leveling the production quantity at that quantity, 116 constantly. See? Yeah, like that. Is it clear, Safina?
Yes, sir, already. So as engineer, we choose chase strategy because has the lowest total cost.
Yes, correct. Yeah, but for this case only, yeah.
Mhm.
For the other case, yeah, not always chase strategy is better than leveling strategy.
Sir,
Yeah.
what about subcontracting?
Yeah. Okay. Good question. Yeah. When we want to implement subcontracting, there is no data about subcontracting costs. So for that case, we cannot implement subcontracting strategy because there is no information on subcontracting costs. Clear? But if we want to implement subcontracting subcontracting strategy, yeah, we just need to select the lowest of this forecast. Yeah, the lowest of this forecast. The lowest is how many? 110, yeah. The lowest is 110, right? So we need to produce 110, but don't forget, initially we have 100. Okay, sudah? Yeah, initially we have 100, yeah. Sorry, 110. So if we produce okay, this one, yeah. Let's say we want to implement what? Subcontracting, yeah. Subcontracting, it means that we need to produce, yeah, at the lowest of this. The lowest is 110, right? So we produce 110 constantly, like that. And after that, we can solve, yeah, using the same way. Mohsen, clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, student. Is there any question? If no question, then I will go back to the slide again. We already solved this problem, yeah. Now let's continue. Okay. After we solve the problem, then we understand that we already have production target for every month. Yeah, every month. But again, I remind you, the production planning previously we arranged it, yeah, based on forecasting, and forecasting is for family products. Please be careful on that. Yeah, family product, not item products. So yeah, the 116 units in the previous answer is for family products. Yeah, inside family products there are item products. So we need to exploit this family product become item products. How to exploit? Yeah, this one. We need to discuss about master production schedule. In MPS, yeah, we will arrange the production target for every item, not family product anymore. We already decide to produce the family products, yeah, in mass production planning in the previous discussion, yeah. But after that, we need to exploit it, become the target of production of item products. And not only that, yeah. When you just imagine, yeah, after this, we will give this schedule to our worker, yeah. So our worker sometimes is confused when the schedule is in month. So we need to make it more shorter. Yeah, we need to make it shorter. Let's say, yeah, we can shortening become week. Yeah, become week schedule, weekly schedule. So yeah, besides we need to explore the family products become item products. We also need to shortening the period become week. We do it in master production schedule or MPS. Yeah. Information to build MPS is the production plan. The previously we already answered it, and the forecast for say individual end items. Yeah, forecast for individual end items. Okay, please be careful. In forecasting, we forecast family products, but after that we need to explode it. Yeah, become forecast of individual items. How to do that? We can use percentage. Let's say, yeah, let's say. Okay, I will show you the Excel again, yeah. New share, I go back to the previous Excel, then I go to sheet 2. Okay, let's say this is the forecast. Can you see my Excel? Student?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
okay. This is forecast, yeah, and this is the period. 1, 2, 3. Let's say only 3 periods, yeah. And then the forecast is 120, 110, 150, just for example. Again, this is for family, not item. Yeah. If there are 2 items, yeah, 2 items. Okay, item 1, let's say, yeah, item 1 and item 2. Yeah, we can get the data about demand, yeah, on item 1 and item 2 from the sales department. Yeah, we can get the data. After that, we can calculate the percentage of that. Yeah, percentage of this. Yeah, for example, yeah, if item 1 in period 1, the sales is, let's say, 50. This one is, let's say, 30. Again, yeah, this is the historical data, yeah, historical data, the data in the past, yeah. Let's say 40, and after that 20, and then 55, and then let's say 15. Yeah, let's say there are 5 historical data, 55, and then 35, then let's say 60, and then 30. Okay, then we can conduct. Yeah, we can sum it, sum like this. Yeah, then we can sum again for this. Yeah, we can total sum of the sum. After that, yeah, we can calculate the percentage of every item here. The percentage will be, yeah, this one divided by this one. Okay, and for this equals to this one divided by the total. Now we understand the percentage of item 1 is 67%, yeah, 0.67, and this one 0.33. So here we can forecast, yeah, forecast for item 1 and forecast for item 2, yeah, using the percentage, yeah, it will be equals to this one times the percentage of item 1. Yeah, we lock it, and then we copy, yeah, or we can use round, yeah, round that, and then number of digits is 0, so we get integer value. Then we do the same for the item 2. This one, the forecast, total forecast, yeah, sorry, round total forecast times the percentage of item 2. Yeah, we lock it, and 0. Okay. Okay. This one I think still not match. Yeah, it's supposed to be 100. Yeah. That's the way. That's the way to forecast every item. Before we continue, is there any question, student, to forecast every item here?
Sir, let me see the formula on forecast item 1.
Okay, okay. Forecast formula item 1. Yeah, this one. The percentage, yeah. Or we just move here. What happened? If we copy to the right, yeah, it will be good. This one also same. Move here. Okay, very good. This one. Yeah, we must to know the production ratio for item. Yes, correct. Yeah, and this is the real. Yeah, this is the real data. Yeah, you cannot get the sales of the demand of family. Yeah, family products is imaginary products. Previously we already discussed about that. Yeah, but if you go to marketing department, you can get the demand for item, not family. Yeah, but after this, yeah, okay. Let me review again about forecasting. Yeah, when you go to marketing department, you can get this data, demand on item. But yeah, if you want to conduct forecasting, you need to aggregate it, become family. So the family will be, yeah, the sum of that. Yeah, sum of this one plus this one. Yeah, you copy it down, and see, yeah, you will use this data to conduct forecasting. Please be careful, student. This is very important. Yeah, the real data is the demand on item, but we cannot forecast for every item. Cannot. What is the reason? You can refer back to my slide. Yeah. After we can get the demand for every item, then we need to sum it become demand of family. And family product is imaginary. We cannot see the product, but we need to work on based on the data. Yeah, so we need to aggregate it, become data like this, yeah, become total demand of items. After we sum it, then we need to conduct forecasting based on this, yeah, based on family data. After we forecast, we need to break down again, become forecast of every item. How to break down? Yeah, we can work based on this percentage or ratio. Is it clear, Mose? Yeah, clear. Okay, good. Safina, is it clear for you for item 1 and then item 2?
Yes, sir, already. Thank you.
Okay, good. Then, yeah, I go back again, yeah, to the slide. Now you understand, yeah, about forecast for individual items, yeah, and also the actual orders. See, remember again. Please remind again. I remind you again. In forecasting, we need to consider not only the forecasting result. The forecasting result is for the annual order, yeah, for the normal demand. But sometimes we receive order from our special customer. So again, I remind you, yeah, in demand management, we need to consider the forecasting result and also the real order that come to our company. And this the real order usually comes from our special customer. Yeah, actual order, it calls as actual orders. Yeah. And in the inventory, of course, this is normal, yeah. When we try to define the production quantity, we need to know the target, which is the demand, and also we need to know the existing stock. Yeah, so it called as inventory, and also the capacity restraint. Okay, sudah. See example below. Okay, a company produces 3 types of products. There are 3 items. Let's say item A, item B, and item C. If initial inventory of product family, see, yeah, initial inventory of product family means that we need, in the real condition, we can see the inventory for item A, B, and C. But in terms of forecasting, we need to aggregate it, we need to total it, become inventory of family. Yeah, see, the inventory of A is 360. Sorry, 50, yeah, 350, and inventory of B is 100, and inventory of C is 50. Total is 500. It called as inventory of product family. Okay, sudah. Then, yeah, see, now we work on week, yeah, not month anymore, because we are talking about MPS, Master Production Schedule. Yeah, if you go to, let's say, Toyota production system, yeah, because Toyota implements just in time, their MPS not in week, yeah, but in day, sometimes in hour. See, yeah, MPS must be very detailed. Yeah, production plan, yeah, still in month, but if we are talking about MPS, must be very detailed. Yeah, so normally people normally we just arrange weekly, yeah. But if our company implement just in time, yeah, just in time, then the MPS will be daily or maybe hourly, yeah, by hour, sometimes by minutes. Yeah, very detailed. Yeah, and then, yeah. If the aggregate forecast is this one, yeah, and after we calculate, yeah, the production plan using chase or level, let's say this is the result, just for example, yeah, and then the aggregate inventory will be like this. From where can you verify the aggregate inventory? Why 545? Because previously we have 500. We decide to produce 205. Yeah, so total we will have how many? 705. The requirements is only 160. So at the end of period 1, we will have 545. Is it clear?
Yes, clear, sir.
Yeah, good. After that, yeah, this is our stock. In period 2, we decide to produce 205. So total, we will have how many? 750. The requirements is only 160. So at the end of period 2, we will have 590, and so on. You can trace by yourself. Okay, so then after that, please focus on this, the production plan. Yeah, inside 205, there are 3 items, item A, B, and C. Then how to explode? Yeah, how to break down 205 become A, B, and C? That's the question. Okay, so then this is the way, yeah, to break down. Yeah, okay. Sorry. We start from the forecast first, yeah. We start with the forecast first. The forecast is 160. So yeah, 160. We try to break down using ratio. Yeah, previously I already explained for that, yeah. And this is the result. Okay, for A, B, and C. This is the forecast, yeah, for every item. Okay. After that, in order to fulfill product A at 70, product B at 40, product C at 50, we need to consider the initial inventory of every product item. After we consider it, let's say this is just for example, yeah, you can define by yourself. Based on the initial stock, yeah, we decide to allocate, yeah, this 205, yeah, to B only. Yes, can, no problem. Why? Because we know, yeah, product A has stock, this one, yeah, 360. Sorry, 350. So for the first period, we don't need to produce product A. So we allocate all of the 205 to B, not to A and to C. Like that. Yeah, the requirements of A is only 70. The inventory of A is 350. Yeah, still okay. How about product C? In period 1, yeah, we decide to not produce product C. Yeah, so we can check. The stock of product C is 50. Yeah, the requirement is 50. So if we decide not to produce product C in period 1, still okay. Yeah, but when we use this inventory, yeah, to fulfill this requirement, so at the period 2, we have no stock of product C, no stock of product C. But in period 2, there are requirements at 60 units, sorry, 50 units. So when we decide not to produce, again, yeah, not to produce product C in period 2, this is not good MPS. This is not good decision. This is just, I just give you, yeah, just give you. In MPS, we can arrange by ourselves. Yeah, we can arrange the production quantity of every unit by ourselves. But this is the bad example. Why bad example? Because in period 2, we cannot fulfill product C. We just allocate all of the 205 to produce B. There is a production for A and C. For A, still okay, yeah, because the stock is 350. Yeah, after that, the requirements only is 70. Yeah, so in period 2, we still have stock for product A, so 70 can be fulfilled. But for product C, we have no stock anymore, and we decide not to produce product C in period 2, and it means that this is not good decision. Is it clear, student?
Sir, we forecast this data like the previous one, sir, using ratio.
Yeah, come again.
Why we have 70, 40, 50?
Yeah, based on the ratio. The previously I explained.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this one is the aggregate, yeah, 160. This is the aggregate. This is the family. After we forecast the family products, then we need to break down become item product, right? Yeah.
Yeah, sir.
Yeah. So how to break down? We can use the ratio, and this is the result.
Okay.
Okay, student. Now we go back here. Yeah, because you already know this is not good decision. If I ask you to revise, yeah, this MPS, can you do that? Can you do that?
Pardon, sir?
Okay. Then I need to repeat again. No problem. Yeah. Okay. For the first
Sorry,
period.
sir.
Yeah. For the first period. Okay. We already decide based on the production plan. Yeah. In the previous discussion. Yeah. Let's say this is the result. We produce 205. Yeah. This is for family. Yeah. For family. So we need to allocate this 205 to A, B, and C. Okay. Let's say we decide, yeah, for the first period, we allocate 205 all for B, not for A and for C. So, yeah, is it good decision? Just evaluate. Yeah. For product A, there are requirements at 70, but we still have stock 350. So we can use this stock to fulfill this 70 units. So still okay for product A. How about product C? Because we decide not to produce product C, still is it okay? Yeah. Then we need to check. Yeah. The stock of product C initially is 50. Then we can use this stock to fulfill, yeah, to fulfill the first requirement, which is 50. So for the first period, it's still okay, yeah, for product C. But in period 2, is it good decision? Yeah, just evaluate. Yeah, product A still has inventory, right? Still have stock. Yeah, but for product C, the stock is already over. Yeah, we have no stock of product C, but there are requirements at 50 units, and we decide not to produce product C. Yeah, in period 2, we just decide to produce product B. Yeah, total, yeah, the total 205, all is for product B, not for product A and C. So in this situation, actually, this is not good decision. Yeah, not good decision. We cannot fulfill the requirements of product C. We still can fulfill the production A, yeah, product A, and also product B. But for product C, we will lose it. Okay, because this is not good decision. When I ask you to reallocate the 205, yeah, to be A how many, B how many, and C how many, can you do that? No answer means yes. Yeah, you can do that.
Actually, sir, if
Yeah.
the demand is constant, we can do it. But the demand, at the 5th and 6th period, we have a different maybe demand with
Yeah.
product B. Maybe it's a little bit difficult.
Yeah. After this, you can try. Yeah. I think it's not very hard. Yeah. You just need to reallocate the 205 become product A, B, and C. Just that. And you need to this one, yeah, to consider the stock as well. Product A, yeah, it has stock 350 and B also 100. So yeah, you can arrange, yeah, you can rearrange this metric, yeah, to fulfill the requirements of product A, B, and C. And then. Can, yeah, because MPS like that, it's like that, yeah. It based on your intuition, based on your intuition. Yeah, you have the forecasting result of product A, B, and C, yeah, the item products. You already know, yeah, the production plan for the aggregate, yeah, for the family products. You already know the inventory, yeah. You have the type of inventory of every item product. After that, yeah, the task is how to distribute, yeah, this production plan, yeah, to become product A, B, and C, like that. And you already know the parameters. The parameters is you must be fulfilled. Yeah, you must be fulfilled the requirements of product A, B, and C. And this is the bad example. Again, this is the bad example. Why bad? Because in period 2, we still can fulfill product A. We can fulfill product B, but we cannot fulfill product C. So we need to reallocate this one, yeah. Let's say from 202, because the requirements product C is 50, yeah, we can put 50 here, yeah, 50 here, and we can reduce this one by 50, it equals to 155. So we put 155 here and 50 here is still okay. Yeah, we can fulfill the requirements of product C, and also product A is still safe, yeah, and also product B also still safe. like that. Okay, student?
Sir, may I have your permission to record this meeting?
Then I need to make you as co-host, yeah?
Yeah, it's okay.
Make co-host. Yes. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. Let's continue, yeah. Okay. Expected inventory, this one, yeah. After we decide to produce like this, yeah, 205 all for product B for period 1 to 3, and after that we decide to produce, yeah, for product C and also for product A like this, yeah. Then we can calculate the inventory. See, yeah, we have negative inventory for product C, yeah. Start from period 2. It means that the decision is not good, yeah. It means that you need to revise by yourself, yeah. Please revise it. Please revise this metric, yeah, so that there is no negative inventory. It means that we can save, yeah, all of the products demand. Problem: a company makes a family, yeah, of 2 lightning rods, yeah. Okay, so then model H and model L. It bases its production planning on weeks. Yeah, it means that, yeah, we need to arrange the production plan on weeks, yeah, not month. For the present month, the production is leveled at 1,000. See, we already have decision about the production plan, which is 1,000 units per month. Initial inventory is 500 units, and the plan is to reduce that to 300 units by the end of the month. So initially we have 500, yeah, for model H and plus model L, but at the end of the production planning, yeah, the company expected to have only 300 units. The MPS is made using weekly periods. There are 4 weeks in this month, and the production is to be leveled at 250 units per week. Yeah, because the production is leveled at 1,000 units, yeah, per month. So when we try to level it in week, yeah, then per week will be 250. Calculate an MPS for each item. Okay, this is the family products. The initial inventory is 500. It consists of 200 units of H and 300 units of L. And this is the forecast. There are 4 periods, yeah, period 1, period 2, period 3, and period 4. This is the forecast of family. And after we break down become H and L, so we can see from here, yeah, the result, the forecast of every items. 200 and 100, 350, yeah, total is 350. Yeah, 100 and 200, total is 300, and so on. Okay, so then master schedule model H. Yeah. How to start? Okay. H, yeah, we start from product H, yeah. The initial inventory is 200. So we record here 200. The forecast just copy paste from the previous, and yeah, copy and paste this one, yeah, this row, yeah, copy and paste 200, 300, 100, and 100. We check 200, 300, 100, 100. Yes. Yeah. After that, we need to, yeah, decide the MPS. Yeah. Previously, this row is still blank, still empty. Yeah. So here we need to decide the MPS. Okay. The MPS is 250 weekly, every week. You can see from here, 250 every week. So we need to decide from this 250, we need to produce for H how many units and for L how many units. Like that. When we decide to produce, yeah, to allocate this 250 all for product H, what happened? This one, yeah, we allocate all of the 250 for product H. It means that there is no allocation for product L. See, no allocation, yeah, no allocation. See, then we can calculate the projected available, the inventory. How to calculate? I think you already know about that, yeah. Initially, we have 200. After that, we decide to produce 250. So total, we have how many units? 450. Okay. The requirements is only 200. So at the end of the first week we will have 250 units of product heads. Yeah. After that, we can continue. Yeah. In second period, if we allocate 250 all for product H and there is no allocation for product L, so it will be like this. Yeah. Previously, we have 250 as the stock, and after that, we decide to produce 250. So total, we will have how many units? 500 units. The requirement is only 300. So at the end of the week 2, the second week, we will have 200 units of model H. Okay. In period 3, yeah, we decide to allocate 250 not for product H, but for product L. Yeah. So yeah, we be like this. Yeah. There is no production for product H. So yeah, we still have 200. There is no production. Total we will have 200. The requirement is only 100. So at the end of week number 3, the third week is 100. Yeah, we will have 100 units of product H. Yeah. After that, yeah, we do the same. Yeah. In period 4, in week number 4, yeah, in fourth week, we decide to break down 250 become 100 for product H and 150 for products L. So total we will have 100 plus 100, yeah, minus 100. At the end of period 4, we will have 100. Yeah, so still safe. Yeah, so we can see from here our inventory is still positive. So it means that this MPS is still good. Yeah, it's good. How about product L? Okay. Initially, we have 300. There is no production. The requirement is 100. So at the end of the first week, we will have 200 units of product L. We continue again. No production. Yeah, 200 plus 0 minus 50 it equals to 150. Yeah, we produce 250 at period 3. It means that we will have 400. The requirement is only 200. At the end of period 3, we will have 200. Yeah. After that, we decide to produce 150 at period 4. Yeah. So total we will have 350. The requirement is only 150. Then at the end of period 4, we will have 200 as the stock. From here, we can say that there is no negative stock. It means that this MPS strategy is good. Okay, sudah? Sudah any question, please?
Alhamdulillah, clear, sir.
Okay. For this, I think we can continue next week, yeah, sudah. And also before we continue, I also need to introduce you how to use big data, yeah, to revise our forecasting. Because yeah, after you know about this discussion, actually we still work with constant data. Constant means that it is like we can make sure, yeah, the forecast result is good. But in the real condition, yeah, we also know the concept of forecasting is forecasts are usually wrong. It means that we need to anticipate. Yeah, if the forecast is not 200, maybe 150 or maybe 350, then how to arrange the MPS, how to arrange the production plan like that. So after this, yeah, next week we will go back again, yeah, to forecasting. I will introduce you how to use big data to conduct forecasting. Yeah, after that you will understand that using big data we can estimate, yeah, the forecasting result and also the optimist result and the pessimist result. So if we have range like that, it means that, yeah, as engineer, as manager, yeah, we can try to arrange MPS or production plan, yeah, better. Yeah. So far we discussed about production plan and also MPS based on constant, yeah, based on certain data. But in the real condition, the data will be uncertainty. So we need to consider the uncertainty data as well, like that. Yeah, my intention not to discuss about big data in forecasting today is to introduce you first, yeah, about this technique. But now you understand, yeah. Until now we are still working with, yeah, precise data. But in the reality, yeah, the data cannot be very precise like this. And then, okay, sudah?
Sir,
You the Excel file. Yes, actually can, but I already asked you to follow me step by step, yeah. Yeah, Musin?
sir. What about the inventory control?
Come again? About the
Inventory control. inventory control.
I cannot hear.
Inventory control, sir.
Inventory control.
Inventory control.
Oh, inventory control. Okay. Inventory control we discuss it after in I think in session 5, I think, yeah, session 5, after we finish everything.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Any question again, student? No question? Yeah. If you ask me to share my Excel to Google Classroom, yes, I can share. Yeah. So I need to save it first. Then how to name it? How to name this file? Production.